Hello, howdy, hi, welcome. Come on in. We're talking about the Gamer Awards. Because for the first time ever, I'm actually aware of them, like, before it's too late to talk about them. So, I want to talk about the Gamer Awards, and honestly, it's hilarious that it's like, I get to talk about them so early this time. I really have no horse in this race this year. Plant Myth Wukong instead of Prince of Persia for Game of the Year, and Shadow of Nepotism. Okay, well, we'll get to Shadow of Erdtree. Prince of Persia is not a game that I even knew came out. It can't be Game of the Year if no one has heard about it. Zero. Sorry, your favorites are all just boring. Well, before you get to your thoughts, because they don't matter, mine do. As arbiter of all opinions and queen of the universe, my thoughts are the most important. But don't worry, we'll discuss. We got plenty of time to chit-chat. So, in case you can't see behind me clearly, the nominees for Game of the Year are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. So, like I said, I really have no horse in this race. This is, in a world where it feels like the past, good couple of years, I had real things that I was pushing for, or that at least I was pushing against. But, this year, I gotta say, this lineup, it's not all that impressive. I must be honest. And personally, and you can go and vote however you want. Personally, I voted for Balatro, which is the only indie game on this list. And I've seen everyone seems to love it. I've seen at least one video about it, which means it can't. If I've seen a video about it, that means it's worth my time to some degree. I haven't seen a video about most of these video games today. And obviously I can't play every game, especially since I'm too busy playing Baldur's Gate for the 4th time. But going down this list, first of all, Astrobot is nominated for damn near every category, to the point that I was like, is this hosted by Sony? What's the fuck? The only thing I know about Astrobot is that, there are skins for the Astrobot that, reference, goddamn everything on planet Earth. I know through Zero that there was a skin that referenced Jak and Daxter. So, but other than that, I don't know jack diddly about Astrobot. No one has said anything about its gameplay. And I doubt there's a narrative. So, I thought it was a tech demo. So, don't care about Astrobot, personally. Haven't played any of them, but I've heard nothing but great things about Astrobot and Metaphor. I'm gonna go down the list alphabetically here. We'll get to Metaphor, but yeah, Astrobot, I don't know, it's sure to win something. You know, when your finger is in every single cookie jar, you're gonna at least get chocolate on one of them, you know? Balatro, like I said, the only indie game that is on this list. I don't expect it to win, but I do think it'll have a real solid, hello, welcome. I think Balatro has a real solid fighting chance. But I don't expect it to win because it is an indie. More people know the AAA titles, but it seems to be a game that people really respect and enjoy. But if anything, I do think it'll at least take there's a category for new game developers, who kind of started out this year, and Balatro is on that list as well. I do expect it to at least win that. The Astrobot was a fun Sony platformer, genuinely. It's really fun and charming, and the narrative, while nothing crazy, was really cute. But it had no staying power. Outside of seeing everyone being like, you know, that Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme of like, it's the thing I know! I feel like no one had anything to say about it all year. Played the first Astrobot game, Playroom, on PS5, and it was fun. The second game is probably good. Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm sure it's swell. You know, it looks cute, but is it Game of the Year good? No, I don't think so. Black Myth Wukong. I've at least heard of Black Myth Wukong. Hang on. Unfortunately, so Black Myth Wukong looks very good. Really solid visuals for Black Myth Wukong. It looks like it's got really nice gameplay. I have perceived it, but I haven't watched like a full video dedicated to it. Unfortunately, the problem is Black Myth Wukong. Welcome, come on in. We're still early in this conversation. You could start throwing your hat in rings. Unfortunately, Black Myth Wukong suffers from being an Elden Ring type game in a world where Elden Ring is on the list. You know, it's a Soulsborne type of game. That's the gameplay, which is really swell. It seems to be really good at it. I don't know how big of an impact Black Myth Wukong had. My perspective of it is skewed because Zero wouldn't shut the fuck up about it on the Discord. We're talking about the Game of the Year Award nominees for this year. Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm sure Black Myth Wukong is great. I just don't know if it has what it takes to take the #1 spot. And that's me saying, like, I don't know how, like, the general consensus is on it. Like, are a lot of people like, oh, it's just, you know, Dark Souls, but monkey? Which, unfortunately, I do think that that's a very possible thing it could get stuck in. It's just Dark Souls, but monkey. The fans, I think, if they can really, like, be loud for it, they might be there, but I really don't know. Of these, I've only played Balatro, so my opinions will not be useful or interesting. Hey, but your opinion still matters, and you can still vote. You can all vote! Just like you should always vote, especially for the president. But we can't talk about that anymore, because we gotta talk about the video games. And you can all go and vote, and there's a ton of things you can vote for. So, and you don't have to vote for all of them, I don't think. This is the first question. Game of the Year, which one wins? So, you can cast your vote. And personally, like, I haven't played any of these. I still get a vote. That's the power of democracy. From what I've seen, Wukong just looks like a more generic Souls-like game, but monkey. It did look really nice. Like, it had great visuals, from what I've seen. And, it's cool that it seemed to be, like, really taking into account the mythos of Sun Wukong. Like, it's got power, but I don't know if it's got the power to be #1. I can feel your side-eye about voting from here, Twiins. You can, for one moment, you saw biblically accurate twins with many eyes, and all of them were to the side. Where is the voting for this at? If you Google the words Game of the Year Awards voting, then it should be like the top option. So, yeah, there you go. Shadow of Erdtree is the big one in the room, I gotta be honest. Personally, I don't think it's fair to nominate a DLC for a game that already won Game of the Year previously. When Elden Ring came out, it won Game of the Year for its year, and I was very salty and pissy about it, and now here I am. I like Elden Ring a lot, and Shadow of Erdtree I just don't think should count as an option. A DLC for a different game, like a game that lost, like if not to throw shade, if God of War got a DLC, and that DLC was up for nominee. Well, it had lost to Elden Ring previously, so I think it should count. But a DLC for a game that is already Game of the Year, I don't think it should count. It's why I didn't vote for it. That being said, it is the one that I think is the best of this lineup. Unfortunately. I just do. That's the thing. So, I haven't heard jack diddly about Astrobot. I haven't watched any dedicated videos towards Black Myth Wukong. I've seen a couple of clips of the Hot Boys from Final Fantasy. I have seen stills from Metaphor. I actively watched at least one video about Balatro, and Shadow of Erdtree prompted me to start watching Northern Lion. I fell down a whole YouTube channel to engage with Shadow of Erdtree. I do think it's like, yeah, it's Game of the Year because Elden Ring already was Game of the Year. So I do think it's gonna win. And a part of me is like, that's kind of lame. But the rest of me doesn't care that much about any of these other games to really get worked up about it. God of War does have a DLC, Valhalla, and it's an awesome free roguelike DLC. Fascinating. I didn't know. And it's not up for nomination, so only seen Relax Alaxis vid on Balatro. I don't know who that is. I watched RT Game play Balatro. At least, he's got multiple, and I watched through at least one of them. I think I got halfway through another one, and then I got distracted by another RT Game video. That happens a lot. But, yeah, that's just my money is really on Shadow of Erdtree, but I voted for Balatro. Where's my Helldivers nomination? Helldivers was up for nomination for multiplayer, and because you have gone on and on and on about it, I voted for Helldivers. So, there you go. The Drift King himself, yes! I'm so glad another person knows who RT Game is. I wish DLC had its own category. That would be great, you know? Maybe something for them to consider in the future, because I'm sure Shadow of Erdtree is prompting discussion across the gaming sphere. I'm sure it's not just me who's, who has reservations about it. The reason why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth it doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell, if you ask me. It's because it's the middle child. It's not the start, and it's not the end. It is an incomplete game, incomplete story. It's the middle of Final Fantasy VII. If it were the first one, because it's like gonna be a trilogy. If it was the first one, okay, maybe. But if it's the last one, once they finish Final Fantasy VII R, absolutely that'll take Game of the Year. Unless some huge hitters come flying in. If, they drop a new Zelda game, then they've got, competition. But it being just the middle one of a trilogy, there's no way it's gonna win, I don't think. It had no staying power. People played through it, and they were excited for like a month, and then there was nothing else to say, except, well, next time we get to see Vincent. In the next one, we get to see more of Cid. In the next one, the story will progress. What happened in this one? They went to the beach. That's how I felt about Genshin winning Player's Choice a year or two back. That game is like 5 or so years old. Why is it still a nominee? That is weird. That's weird. I guess, if players choose, then that's what it is. It's an incomplete game. It is. Because it's not the full story. Like, that's not to say it's a bad game, but let's be honest. It's as if your buddy lent you Final Fantasy VII, and they had played through the first 4 bosses, and they were like, here, you can start playing from here. And you played Final Fantasy VII for a month, and you did not finish the game, but you were able to fight 4 more bosses. And then you had to give your game back to your buddy. You did not play the full game. It's not a full game. The first one is not a full game either. None of them will be full games until there is a complete trilogy to go through. That's how I put it. So, And my opinion is the only one that matters. One of the most content-rich games that come out in the past 10 years. Yeah, and no one said anything about it. No one's talking about it. It has no staying power. Like I said, being the middle child, there's no way. If it wins, I'd be happy to swallow my words and be proven wrong. I just don't expect it. The last one over there, Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm blown away that it was nominated because it feels like it just came out. Like a month or two ago. It's an RPG made by the same group that does Persona, I'm pretty sure. It's at least the same artist. And I've seen just screenshots. The characters do look cool, but I don't know jack diddly about what actually is Metaphor ReFantazio. The Grand High Arbiter of Opinions, exactly. Remasters, remakes could be their own award too. Not every year has that many. I don't think. Like, other than Final Fantasy, what other remakes do we have this year that could go into that category? It's toothless attempted political commentary? Is that what Metaphor ReFantazio is? Oh yeah, Silent Hill 2. Yeah. I'm surprised Silent Hill 2 actually didn't make this list somewhere. Maybe it just came out a little too late in the game. A bummeroni. I am delighted at how well Silent Hill 2 came out. I'm excited to see Bloober Team do more. Like, I'm so glad it ended up good, actually. And, you know, I will say, Silent Hill 2 was nominated for, like, Soundtrack of the Year. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. Soundtrack of the Year and Sound Design for the year. And the voice actor for James has been nominated for Voice Actor of the Year. So, you know, it could come in somewhere. If it were on this list, do I think it would win? No. Maybe if we replaced Shadow of Erdtree, then maybe. Well, that would be a race I'd be fascinated to see, because everyone feels at a pretty even playing field if we got rid of Erdtree. But yeah, that's sorry, I zoned out while rapid voting. What games were we talking about? We were talking about Final Fantasy. And then I acknowledge that I know nothing about Metaphor. It looks very pretty, you know. Yeah, it looks nice, but I don't expect it to win either. Still skeptical of anything Konami related. Don't want to get attached to anything by them. That is true. And you know what? I was saying this to Allison. So there's tumblings, words are whispering across the streets that the next Silent Hill game is gonna be written by the guy who made Higurashi, which is exciting. And if they have Bloober Team come on again, because that's the thing, we went into Silent Hill 2 thinking it was gonna be really bad, and then it was good, actually. It was quite good. And so now a new bar has been set. And so, if the next Silent Hill game is gonna, like, if it's gonna be Bloober Team again, we're all gonna be like, Silent Hill 2 Remake was good. So, this one will also be good, right? And, that's gonna be where we really see, you know, like, how, that one's gonna be the one that really, really matters, because we expect quality now. And if they drop the ball, then they're gonna really, really, really drop the ball. I hope that it's good, but we'll have to wait for that. I don't know when that's gonna happen. Eventually I'm gonna have to interact with the opinions of others about Silent Hill 2 Remake, and I'm not excited about it. I recommend NitroRad. He's got a great video about Silent Hill 2. It's pretty long, but it doesn't feel long. He's easy to have on in the background, but it's plenty entertaining, like, to just watch as well. He's got a great video. He knows the stuff when it comes to Silent Hill 2. He breaks down the good and the bad in a very, like, approachable way. So even if you don't agree with something that he says, whether it be praise or critique, You know, it never sounds like you never end up feeling like you have to get defensive, you know, when someone, like, shits on something you like, and how you can be like, well, I like it, so maybe you should just shut up, you know, you get ready to leave an angry comment. I've never felt that way with Nitro Rat, so I suggest his video. It's a great one if you want to hear a general kind of other opinion. Look at us all dancing. Who'd have thought I would dance this close to RT game? I've been told they didn't actually change much about Silent Hill 2 in the remake, so it's possible they still trip at the finish line when they aren't just copying homework. We're not, so it seems really swell. You know? Like I said, Nitro Rad breaks down lots of very well put, thoughts about it, and I suggest you check him out because I haven't actually played it myself. I haven't seen a Let's Play or anything, so it's hard for me to have a hard opinion on it, but from what I've seen, I was very happy with how well they, like, clearly cared about approaching the story and the themes of Silent Hill. Unfortunately for me, I am terrible at horror games. Resident Evil is the most I can handle. Same. Silent Hill it exists in this fascinating kind of wandery void for me, where I love Silent Hill, but it scares me. But I like engaging with it. I am fascinated by the psychological horror aspects, and that's the thing. Even the worst Silent Hill games has at least something that is interesting. that you can be like, so this whole game is ass and garbo. But this one thing, this one, like, enemy design, yeah, there's something to think about there. And that's often the thing as well, is, if one of them is bad, then I think it's really fun to think over how to make it better. My favorite example is in Downpour. Downpour's plot is that protagonist man's son was, like, attacked by somebody, and so protagonist man killed that somebody. That's kind of what you need to know. In the game, there are these enemies that are just, like, muddy women, who, like, scream, and that, like, stuns protag man, and then they, like, I don't know, attack him or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so why is it muddy women? Are they supposed to, like, represent his wife yelling at him? Like, this is his fault that their son got attacked in the first place? I think it'd be far more interesting if they wanted an enemy that screamed and stunned protag man, if the enemy sounded like a little kid crying, a little kid screaming for help, because it was his responsibility to try to protect his son, and he feels responsible for him getting attacked. A far more interesting way to approach the exact same mechanic. Does it fix the gameplay? No, Downpour is still shit. But a far more interesting way to approach the psychology of it. That's what I say. Anyway, we can't go on and on about Downpour, because I don't know the plot well enough to talk about it too much. Why does everything turn red at the end? I don't know. Yeah, we're vaguely talking about games of the year, but I kind of got distracted talking about Silent Hill. But, yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me take a sip of water. Does it fix the game? No, it's still shit, but it's less shit. So, there's also mobile game nominees, like Best Mobile Game of the Year. And there are 2 nominees that I do not remember. I have no outstanding thoughts or opinions about whatever those 2 games were. I do not remember what they were. This story is about the 3 games I do remember, because 2 of them were Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves, also known as Genshin Impact clone made by Genshin Impact, and Genshin Impact clone, but it's got a dark color palette. And both of those communities are very aggressive about how they think they should win. Especially Wuthering Waves, because they're not a Genshin Impact clone. They're not. Oh, excuse me, I did not mean to be disrespectful. You're a Breath of the Wild clone. Good job copying a game that came out 15 years ago. But I think it'd be much funnier if the game I voted for won for Genshin, for mobile game of the year, to be the Pokemon card game that just came out. I would be delighted, and hilariously, I think that might be the first Pokemon game that wins a game of the year. To any degree, and I'd be delighted. Hang on, let me blow my nose. Hang on. Oh. Have you played any of the Yakuza / Like a Dragon games? Not a one. Not a single one. I've watched some of the best of compilations of Ray Narvaez Jr. It was weird to not say the full name. I've seen some of his videos, but no, I haven't played any of them. And I gotta be honest, I've got nothing in me driving me to play Yakuza. Allergies? It's just cold all the time. So, always stuck blowing my nose, and I'm sick of doing it. I'm sneezing a lot too, and that also pisses me off. Withering impact. Wuba is awful to play on phone. Yeah, that's the thing. These fucking mobile games, and this has been an issue for a while, if you ask me. I'm sick of these mobile games having, like, you know, basically AAA level quality when it comes to visuals, and these sprawling, like, story-driven narratives with lots of pretty effects on their animations and stuff, and they're fucking mobile games. I'm goddamn sick of this bullshit, of a game that would otherwise just be a really nice JRPG, but it's a shitty fucking mobile game. I'm not gonna play this on my phone. I didn't have enough room on my computer to download the like, an update for Honkai Star Rail. My PC! A computer, my PC! You expect me to download that bullshit on a phone? Are you joshing me? And yeah, they all play like ass on a screen. And so you basically need to get either the PC or a console version of these things if you want to actually play it, for it to be, like, decent. And then it's like, here's a very interesting, gripping narrative. But also, because we expect you to play every single day and not go through it too fast, woo, here's a ludicrous difficulty spike. Looks like you have to do these boring fucking dailies. Your daily grind of log into the game and run around and talk to these 3 NPCs and do their dumb fuck quests, so then you can gain a little bit of bullshit. It's so fucking stupid. I'm sick of these games that it's like, this looks really swell. This should not be a motherfucking mobile game. Just make me spend $60 and buy a real fucking video game. What happened to Fruit Ninja, man? I'm right there with you, Zero. The only mobile games I've got are the ones that are like card games. You know, there's no like whooshy running around in a 3D world. I'm not exploring in a mobile game. I'm tapping on the card that says this attack is strong, and I hit that, and then the animation goes. And it's a 2D animation. Rhythm games, shit like that. I have several mobile games, but I hardly play them all. I haven't played Subway Surfers in like 2 years. I keep forgetting I have Pokemon Go. My friend's mom has to remind me. That's nothing wrong with, you know, falling off a mobile game. I gotta be honest. But, yeah, I think the ones that can stick around, they're just not really Genshin, you know? No one's playing Genshin on their phone. And if they are, it's because their mom won't let them have a PC that's strong enough to handle it. Which is stupid as well. That it's like, I couldn't download one of these Genshin clones on my old PC. Because it wouldn't run. My computer couldn't handle it. So you either need a good PC, or you download it on your phone, and it's like, oh well, it runs, but you know, playing it on your phone or a tablet is total ass. Xenozone Zero is like over 100 gigabytes. I like playing the game, but it's annoying when I have to uninstall literally every other game I like to play it. I'm just happy I have my Shark Girl. Hey, good job getting the Shark Girl. You could have just saved her PNG as your desktop. And you would have gotten all that it's worth. Granted, Balatro is also up for mobile game, I think, so I don't know if it could win Game of the Year and have TCG Pocket win mobile. Yeah, but it is also, so it's nominated for Game of the Year, mobile, and, like, new game from a new developer, basically, nomination. So I think it's got at least that one in the bag. Turn your phone into the sun, for real. I remember I downloaded a Honkai game, not Star Rail, because they had their previous Honkai games, and I was so bored. And I was like, I'm gonna download this and play this. And I spent my whole morning waiting for it to download. And then I was like, cool, I'll play the game. And I picked up my phone, and it was the hottest it's ever been. I was like, oh cool, I'm glad I've nuked my phone's battery to play a little bit of this game, and for me to go, wow, this is actually kind of shit. I don't think I want to play this. You'd be surprised by the amount of casuals that play Genshin on phone. How can you be a casual of Genshin? Oh, I just like to casually boot up a game and, run through a town? Smack one bad guy 400 times? Because that's the thing, the enemies are all damage sponges. Genshin is shit. It's the worst one of them all. That's the thing. Like, in terms of gameplay, like, say what you will about the art styles and stuff, that's irrelevant. Genshin is the least fun of the Genshin clones to play. And I'll die on that hill. Honkai Third Impact? I don't know. Maybe there was a girl with, like, white hair. She had pigtails, like braids. Probably that one. Is Genshin the new Candy Crush? It only becomes the new Candy Crush when old people start playing it. But yeah, that's the nominations. I am interested to see who wins. I do think it'll be Shadow of Erdtree, but, you know, if any of the other options win, I'll be like, wow, goddamn, good job! I'm glad I never bothered to look into any of them. From what I'm hearing, they aren't very good. I mean, the character designs are at least fun. I will do that. Every now and then, I'll just look up go to the wiki for, like, Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, and just see what new characters look like. And for Genshin Impact, that's a lot more boring. The characters are all so fucking samey. I can't believe there's still so many people playing Genshin Impact when it feels like it lost interest in itself, like, 2 years ago now. They're so detailed, but not in a good way. That's what I'll say. That's my little spicy take. Honkai's character designs look a lot better. I don't give a single shit about Zenless Zone Zero, so I don't Google them. I thought about Googling Wuthering Waves, and then I was like, actually, I realized I don't care about that one either, so I don't look up those characters either. Eh. I've only been interested in Genshin during the Fontaine arc. Don't even know what that is. Is that the current, because they entered, like, they go into these, like, grooves where it's like, we want it to be China now. We want it to be Japan now. We want it to be desert, but with no people of color. Whiteys only. And then I think they entered, I want it to be gun now. Fontaine is water France. Oh. Boring shit, I must say. What would you actually want to be Game of the Year, besides what's already nominated? That's the thing. I don't really... like, games that came out this year? I don't even know what other options there are. I feel like... because, you know, I've spent my year playing, like, Baldur's Gate. So what are some other things? You know, what other games could have been Game of the Year, do you guys think? I'm gonna pass that question off to you, and maybe I can copy some of your answers. Maybe Silent Hill 2. I think it had a running chance. I would be like, yeah, for Silent Hill 2 remake. That's a decent one. But what are some other games that came out this year? Played Genshin once because my friend wanted to show it to me. I didn't play enough to get an opinion, but I'm not sure I would have enjoyed it. It is so close to enjoyable. My big problem with Genshin really is, one, combat is boring and repetitive, but two, it flies in the face of its movement. It wanted to be, hey, what if we did Breath of the Wild, but with Nier Automata's kind of combat, sort of. And having stamina during combat fucking sucks chodes. It's stinky and dumb, and so it feels like the game is constantly fighting with you. Right when you think you're, oh cool, my heart is beating, I'm having fun. Oh wait, I need to stop and wait for my stamina. The stamina is the worst part about that game. Wish that god-awful Avatar game got nominated for no reason. Persona 3 Reloaded? It's just you know, I guess I would say that, you know, would be okay if it had the option to play as the female protagonist. Since they removed that, it wouldn't be a pick for me. No way, no way. I am glad it got a remake, though, because then theoretically I could play it, and I don't have to listen to Vic Mignogna as one of the characters. Hooray for me. Replaced by infinitely better Xeno. Is that his name? I love this voice actor. He's so fucking good. Yeah, Xeno. So, hooray. Hooray for that. But other than that, nah. Hoped Sonic X Shadow Generations made Game of the Year. Though to be fair, it's a re-release with an updated story. Yeah, I mean, I guess if a DLC counts, it could have, but I just don't know if core game, of Sonic Generations on its own as Game of the Year material, you know? Prince of Persia Lost Crown. Never even heard of this game. I'm glad you liked it, but I'm flabbergasted at how not I've heard of it. Tekken 8 and Stellar Blade without the fan base. I haven't seen anything from Stellar Blade other than like screenshots. It seems like it's just hair physics, the game. Oh! You know what's hilarious? That Dragon Age Veilguard didn't get nominated for anything. Veilguard was so ass that it didn't get nominated for anything, I don't think. I don't even think it was even an option for RPG of the Year. Hi-Fi Rush? I couldn't care less. Was that last year? It feels like, honestly, Hi-Fi Rush feels like, it's like Splatoon, where it feels like it's just always has been. You know? Like, Splatoon came out, and it was like, yes, this belongs. Heard some pretty good things about Veilguard. I've seen a lot of reviews for Veilguard. Good and bad. People like it, some people don't. Personally, I say it's like, wow, that's a swell game. That's not a good Dragon Age game. It is not what I come to Dragon Age for, so I'm not gonna play it. But for the people who do like it, I'm happy for them. But I do think that they've ended up alienating a humongous portion of the fan base based on not just art style, but general writing and the narrative and how it treats the previous game's narratives. That's all I'll say. But, no, I wouldn't have nominated it. Nintendo was sort of on the back burner this year, so I'm a lame-o that's really only been playing older stuff, and Echoes of Wisdom, which is very good, but not really Game of the Year worthy. Yeah, just a side Zelda game, not Game of the Year worthy. I perceived one video, like, thumbnail for it, and I didn't even click on it, and I was like, I just don't care. Don't care about the Zelda game. I bet it was swell. I mean, what a surprise. Nintendo has really high quality stuff. The only thing Veilguard nominated for was accessibility. I think you're right. And you know what? I do actually think I voted for it. because I know that they offered, I think the accessibility, because they didn't like explain what made them accessible. I think Veilguard's accessibility was discussing like the trans representation. At least that's what I opted to like believe. And I was like, yeah, I'll vote for that one. Because I know that it'll make the transphobes all pissy and butt mad. And knowing that I had a hand in making transphobes get so angry that they pissed themselves, that's a win in my book. Veilguard is one of those games that sadly got caught up in culture war that overshadowed anything the game actually did. I don't really think so. I think, you know, the losers crying about, you know, like, scars and stuff, yeah, they're always there. They're crying and screaming about anything and everything. Every game that comes out, they probably found some way to be pissy about Astrobot, you know? Really, a Veilguard seems to have a lot, to put it shortly, it seems that they wanted to kind of restart, you know, everything. They wanted to, you know, set everything back to zero and start, you know, restart, instead of continuing the narrative. And I think if they wanted to do that, there were better ways they could have, unfortunately. Thank goodness you're here is a completely insane acid trip, and I love it. Oh, I thought you were just saying, thank goodness I'm here. Like, at Twiins, I'm so happy you're here to talk about video games. Didn't realize you were saying the name of a game. I haven't heard of this. Let me Google it. Thank goodness you're here game. Here, spell her wrong, game. Oh, I've seen this, but I've only seen it like very shortly. Like, I haven't watched a whole lot of that. Accessibility is usually about how accessible the game is for anyone to be able to play. Yes, yeah, like colorblind options and stuff. True. But since I didn't list any of that, I opted for the one that I knew would make transphobes mad. But it's nice that that's a whole category, and that's really swell. Also, I voted for Baldur's Gate for, community support. Cause, I'm Baldur's Gate pilled. And, like, that, it's yeah, I don't know what games came out this year. You know what actually? My vote is mouthwashing. Mouthwashing should be game of the year. For a game that came out this year that I actually cared about, I really found myself taken with mouthwashing. Mouthwashing should win. Hell yeah. And best update goes to Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley's 6.0 update was a complete game changer. So, yeah, that's my pick. Somehow I already forgot that existed. It's just assimilated into me, you know? It's like, I'm not constantly thinking about Pokemon, it's just a part of me. And mouthwashing was that as well, where it's just always simmering in my brain somewhere, and just sometimes it bubbles forward, and it's like, oh yeah, mouthwashing, hell yeah. Ugh. What was mouthwashing about? All I know is that Jeremy, which is not his name, he was Jimmy, is an asshole. I have a video about it. It's just it's basically a highlights from the stream I did, where I trim out all the parts where I was lost or struggling with puzzles. So it's basically a great way for you to get the narrative, like the full story of mouthwashing. And every now and then I say something funny as well. So, really swell time. I took the effort to give everyone distinct voices. I think it's a really great way to engage with mouthwashing. Not to put myself on a pedestal, but I'm glad that I haven't seen anyone else. I'm sure they exist. But I'm glad to be at least one of the people out there being like, hey, here's the story of mouthwashing. Just, here's the full story, here you go. I'm really proud of that video, which is great because it was so easy to do as well. So yeah, I suggest you just watch my video. The plot is spaceship. You know, we're kind of like, like the crew of the Bebop in Cowboy Bebop. So they're transporting cargo. That's their job. They're just transporting cargo, and then they crash, and they're stuck in space, and dealing with the repercussions of running out of, everything. So, there you go. Check out my video for the full story. Mr. Stream on mouthwashing. But the most I've seen about it is some TikToks where people use a Brandon Rogers audio for the Jimmy character. Fascinating. Again, watch my video, and then you'll be able to rewatch the TikToks or whatever, and you'll be like, I get it now. It's like when you are aware of a property, and you watch some, like, you know, X as Vines compilations. Since I'm an old, that's what I see. And then you learn more, and it's like, that makes this Vine way funnier, I understand now. I saw the bloody guy from mouthwashing and got scared, so I read the wiki, then I watched your video. I think, did you leave a comment? I got a couple of people leaving comments, about appreciating my video, which was really nice. It was kinda... It had settled, you know? It was just there. It's not hitting great numbers or anything, but that's alright. But I got, like, a multiple comments that were like, thanks for playing through this. It made it easier for me to engage with it. And that made me happy. That made me feel like it's like, yay! I helped! Oh, by the way, IGN is hosting an Indie Game Awards this year that's supposed to be a more grounded and appreciative of the games themselves. Mouthwashing has a nomination for Narrative and Game of the Year. Oh my. IGN? So I can only assume I could find that one through the IGN website, perhaps. IGN Indie Game Awards. If I were to vote on that one. Because that could be fun. That could be neato. I'll be honest, most of the time when I see the injured guy in YouTube thumbnails, I immediately think it's the Hanged Man from Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. Fascinating. Let me Google him. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion is one of the ones that I, like, constantly forget exists. And then someone will be like, mention it, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I watched so many videos about that. And not because I was, like, really into it, but just because it was, like, kind of all there was to watch at some point. There was just a point in time where I understand why you think that. I do understand how you think that. Yeah, there's just a point in time when it was just everyone played Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion, and it was like, alright. I guess I'll watch that. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion is one of the ones that feels like if it came out now, maybe had a little bit stronger of a plot from the start, it could be like, it could be new FNAF, you know? I think it came out at a weirdly unfortunate time where it was just, it didn't have enough to latch onto, and there were other bigger things that were hooking in all the kids. But I liked Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion. I think a lot of people did as well. So, that's great. It was a pretty high quality game. I'm sure that team could make more stuff. And, you know, it'd be really swell. You got bounce for dinner? Well, hey, sleep good, eat your vegetables, drink your water. That's the link. Seems like it's gonna be pretty cool. Can't be worse than the actual Game Awards, I'd imagine. Probably not. I feel like, so I've never actually watched the Game Awards, like live or anything. That sounds cringe as all get out. Hell no. But, you know, I love talking about who wins afterwards, so that could be fun. This sounds like a made-up game in a cartoon. What the fuck is this? What, you mean Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion? It's actually kind of hilarious. So, Spooky is a ghost, and she's got a mansion, and it's full of jump scares. And it's like cute little guys, like cardboard cutouts of guys, like that, like swing out at you from the walls. And so, you know, it's pretty easy. You know, it's like a haunted house. And then you get to like a certain floor, and then there's an actual monster, and they've got a ton of different monsters that kind of, like, are reminiscent of, like, there's an SCP flavored one, they've got, like, a Resident Evil flavored section, you know, like, it's clearly, like a love letter to other horror games and stuff. Some parts are scarier than others. It all kind of depends on what you find frightening. And then you go back to the hallways of, like, just a little cardboard cutout guy going, wah! And Spooky wants to scare you really bad. That's the thing. And then later on down the line, I think they made a DLC that, like, added a plot about how the fact that she's a ghost and what happened there. But yeah, you should play it, Messiah. I think you'd like it. Talking about Game of the Year ends up talking about Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. Sounds great, actually. I know, and it's like I said, I feel like if under different circumstances, it would have really kicked off and, like, been a much bigger thing than it was. But between coming out in, like, chunks, like, it was like, there's 100 floors to the mansion, but they needed, like the first build only had, like 50 of them or something, and it came out in multiple different builds, and then kind of not having any real story progression until the DLC, like, you know, that paired with other things, just being able to grab people more. There wasn't a lot of info about the monsters and stuff, or, like, Spooky in the mansion, and so there was nothing much for fans to latch onto in a world where we all liked making theories, and so things like FNAF and Bendy fed that, like, drive a lot better than Spooky's jump scare did. So, yeah. A bit unfortunate, but again, a really nice quality. I bet they can make more games and they'd be really swell, and I'm excited to see if they ever do. Just got off playing Stardew Valley. Well, howdy! Welcome! Which one do you think would be Game of the Year? I voted for Balatro. The indie nominees are also reminding me, have you heard of Crow Country? I have. I don't care about it. But I've, like, seen it. It seems great. It's not a genre I'm particularly taken with. So... yeah. And also, it kind of, like, I see Crow Country, and I go, hey, that looks really nice. And then my brain, like, injects into that thought, hey, do you remember Shipwrecked 64? And then I think about that instead. And if you don't know, Shipwrecked 64 is, it's a game, but really it's more like a creepypasta. What's his name? Fuck. I love his videos. Nightmind. Nightmind has a video discussing, Shipwreck 64, and I think it's very good. There's a different guy who had a much better video, though. Hang on, let me deadass Google it. So I could find that. And you guys can just learn about Shipwreck 64, and you can also have nightmares because of the Duck and Cover song, and that's all I'll say about that. Explained. It wasn't Nexpo that I watched. No, it was Popo, I believe. Yeah. Here, let me. Don't play. Okay. It might load you in the middle. It's just where I was the last time I was watching this video. Here's a video recommendation. Wow. So you can learn about Shipwrecked 64. Hope Elden Ring gets Game of the Year. I expect it to, System ID. I really do. You weren't here, so I'll repeat myself. I think it's not fair for a DLC for a game that already won Game of the Year to be nominated. That doesn't seem fair to me. That being said, I do also think it's the best one here. But I don't think it's fair, so I voted for Balatro, which I think is a worthy second place. If any of these win, maybe other than Astrobot, if Astrobot wins, I'm saying that, you know, that's rigged. But, if anything else wins, I'd be delighted. I do expect Shadow of Erdtree to win, and as much as I think it's not fair, it's like, but it was really, really good, so how mad can I be? That's fair. If not that, then Final Fantasy VII for me. I think, you know, Final Fantasy VII is, I think, actually the second runner-up. I think in my eyes, it goes Shadow of Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII, Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, Metaphor, Astrobot. That's, like, the order. Like, if we saw, like, 1st through 6th, that's what I think it would be. I don't think we get to see that ordering, though. Personally, I don't actually think Final Fantasy VII would win, no matter what the lineup is. I think it would always end up 2nd place, since it's not the full story. But I don't know, maybe other people don't care as much as I do. Wow, 3,192 seconds in. Almost done modeling your first 3D model. Wow-wee. Sounds magical. What exactly is Balatro? First time hearing about it. It's a roguelike, but you're playing poker. That's the best, honestly, way I could describe it. Yeah, so you build different decks and you get different jokers that, like, add buffs to, like, oh, this one makes your diamonds all, like, do double whatever, and so you try to build a diamond deck, and you get rid of the other, like, suits, so that you have just diamonds to work with. RT Game has some excellent videos on it. I suggest you check him out, and you'll be able to kind of see just how it can be so clearly addicting. Is your beef with Astrobot found earlier in the stream? Not really. Mostly it's just like, I haven't seen anything about it. I thought it was a tech demo. And no one has talked about Astrobot at all in any way. Outside of, the outfit is a thing I recognize. He's got a million different skins and I recognize that one. And it's like, is that Game of the Year? For what I thought was a tech demo? But, maybe it's also just because it was nominated for everything, it seemingly, that it ended up wearing me down. I would say Black Myth, because I heard about it since its development and found that journey quite neat. As someone who heard about it only when it came out, it looks really great. I just don't know if it can shake, being more than just Soulsborne monkey, you know. Soulsborne monkey game. A poker game where you can get more points than atoms in the perceivable universe. It's true. That is, yeah. So if you like do good, big number, go big, then I think you'd like Balatro. And I at least respect it for being the only indie game up on this list. But yeah, no real hard feelings to Astrobot. Listen, there's gotta be a least favorite, and Astrobot is that. What was I saying? I feel like I was saying something about games. It was before I got distracted by discussing Shadow of Erdtree again. Now, Astrobot made waves, and I'm not a PlayStation person. People who thought the game was just look at the cool nostalgia will say it was genuinely really, really good. Hey, well then if it wins, then I guess it deserves it, but in my eyes, it's an industry plant. Oh, that's right, I was talking about Crow Country. Yeah, and Shipwrecked 64. Which actually, the thing that I wanted to pivot to is, once you guys are done watching videos about Shipwrecked 64, is that you should then go and watch Critters' new video. My sister, the Judgmental Critter, she's got a 5-hour-long video reviewing all of Disney's animated movies. And I'm like an hour in right now, and I'm having so much fun. It's really engaging and nice, so y'all should check that out and have a great, good, cool time. I like that I like it when she ranks the princesses. To figure out who's the best princess of them all. So yeah, that's also a plug I'm gonna slot in there. Being 5 hours long might be a bit intimidating. It just means you consistently have something to watch while you eat lunch for like a month. You think I'm not doing that right now? I only paused for you. About 2 hours in, had to take a break because my attention sucks, but it's awesome. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, being so long, I don't think I could just sit there and watch just a 5 hours, like, in full, but it's not unheard of. Like, I've absolutely done that before, and I was having so much fun watching it while eating dinner that I was like, oh, I gotta start stream. I'll finish listening to her talk about Jungle Book. You know? It's easy to, like, keep watching. You know? There's plenty of different little things to, like, kind of keep your eyes out for that makes it engaging throughout. So, hooray. And you should all watch that. Yeah, I think that's everything I had to chit-chat about. Game of the year. Watch Critter stuff. I'm great. Personally, I am hesitant on Black Myth considering the developers. I've seen some really deplorable stuff and it affects how I view the game. Uh-oh, I haven't seen any of that. That's a bummer-roni to hear, though. No one likes hearing that. Does it feel weird to hear your sister in a video? No? She's been making... I hear her voice all the time. That's just how she sounds. It's like just listening to her talk. It felt weirder to hear my voice when I first started making videos, because you don't hear your own voice very often. And then I got used to it, so. But yeah, no, not weird hearing Critter talk in a video. Totally normal. I'm 4 minutes, but then Excalibur corrects themselves to 4 hours into the video, and Aurora, spelt incorrectly, at 5 points of princesshood is funny as fuck. Yeah, and I'm impressed at how charitable she's been towards a lot of these older movies. Critter and I have the same opinion on basically all of these movies. So, like I remember being very bored with Snow White and hearing her be very charitable towards it and praising so much of the animation and stuff, and the characterization of these boring princesses like Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. It's really nice. It's nice hearing all, like, a new thought, because I haven't watched any of these things in like, goddamn forever. So it's nice getting to, like, a refresher on, hey, wait, actually, this one's not that bad. Agree with her Crow's hot take for Dumbo, in all honesty. As someone who, I can't remember watching through Dumbo all the way. I can't have any real opinions myself. But I trust Critter's opinion, so I'll agree too. And I said she's including other girls who aren't considered official Disney princesses. Yeah, that is nice. Also, she's right. Aurora should have been wearing purple. The pink dress and the blue dress, they both look bad. Her dress should have been purple. Haven't watched it yet, but listening to that is gonna get me through my workday tomorrow. Hell yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it off with an idea I had. I had an idea today of, you know how I've got my Sanrio boys that I keep up with? You know, the Hello Kitty boys, you know, the Bad Bats Maru, you know, all of them. You know how I got those that sometimes I'll bring up on stream and you guys go, yeah, boys. So I had the thought, I was like, what if I made magical girls that are like reminiscent of Hello Kitty and Friends? So maybe I'll do that on stream. That sounds fun. Two fairies arguing over dress color, the third one. For fuck's sake, make it purple. No, I don't know, but I will pretend I know. That's okay. That sounds so cute. Honestly, I just saw Hello Kitty today. Just perceived her in the back rooms. And I was like, I like that Hello Kitty always has her bow. She's like a magical girl. You know, so like that's how that thought went down. So yeah. Maybe we'll start drawing that up next week. Maybe the week after. I don't know. But that sounds fun. I'll have to figure out which ones, because there's so many Sanrio friends. So I can't do them all, at least not all at once. So, you know, gotta have Hello Kitty. I love Cinema Roll. Pom Pom Purin is swell. I like My Melody. And Kuromi, but also I love Bad Bats Maru, but I can't just have them all. So I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Hear me out. Aurora's dress were both cool, but purple would be nice. Would be nice though. Purple, if you had just said Aurora in purple, I'd be like, but Critter like edited the picture that like to have a purple dress, and I was like, wow, that is actually way better. So horror entity, Hello Kitty detected. Just passing through the back rooms, you know. I waved, she waved. Make it green like the other fairy who didn't fight. I know, right? There are so many princesses, and so many of them just wear pink, blue, or green. They don't wander into purple, orange, or red, like true red or yellow, basically ever, which is just fascinating. Really, really interesting for me to think about. Can't really type it all out, but searching Black Myth Wukong controversy will get you to the point. TLDR, rampant misogyny, and the sort. A bummer. What a shame that I don't even think it's gonna win anyway. But whatever, man. Why can't people just not be bad? You know, it's a big ask, apparently. See, what we have to do is we have to just enslave the men, so then they learn their lessons. I don't make the rules, but, you know, God says it's what has to happen. Half of them would be really into it anyways. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Twisted Wolf YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate you. Howdy. You followed just in time for stream to end. I appreciate you. Hi, Mapafu's also here just in time for stream to end. I will quickly give you my lowdown with the with my thoughts. I voted for Balatro. I think Shadow of Erdtree is going to win, even though I don't think it should have been nominated, being just a DLC for a game that already won a previous year. That's the long and short of it. I don't think Final Fantasy VII has a chance. I'd be delighted to be proven wrong. I feel like I always join streams when they end. Me too, though. There have been so many times where, like, I'll get to Twitter and I see, you know, somebody who I'm following has tweeted, like, I'm live, and then I'm like, ah, neato, and then I go to Twitch and they are not live anymore, and it's like, what the heck? What are you doing streaming in the middle of the day? Sorry, Twiins, but I would rather not be enslaved. I'm not into bondage. Well, you'll get over that. I appreciate you dropping by, though. Maybe you can show up slightly earlier next time on Dragon Ball Z. You know what I think? I think I want to play Pokemon Stadium. I had that thought. So next Tuesday, get excited for not Vampire Survivors, but Pokemon Stadium. I was like, oh, I caught a wild Twiins. Oh, she's ending. Like a rat fleeing back into the sewers. I'm too slippery, you can't catch me. It's like a whole new game. Yeah, except it's not. I've played it before on stream. But I was like, oh, I could play it with the model that Critter made me. Because Critter made me that model. That it looks more retro. And I was like, that sounds fun. I'm going to do that. Okay. I'm going to actually end the stream, though. So I can go back to watching Critter's good long video. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Vote on who you think should win. Back to recovering from my government-mandated post-vacation cold. I know, right? Ain't that how it always is? Goodbye, chat and streamer. Goodbye, system ID. And everyone else as well. Goodbye. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. All that jazz. I hated that saying. I always hated that. Cause it put it in the thought in my head of bed bugs biting me. Streamer with 2 eyes. But yeah, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the demons sit on your chest and bother you. Make your hand wither away. I'm referencing some story. I should just end the stream.